So, welcome everybody to today's weekly webinar with vFairs. This is episode 6. So, my name is Danica. So, I work on the sales team at vFairs. I'm based in the UK in London. And my colleague Katie, that's with us today, she will be running the demo. She's based in Wales in the UK, and she's a senior account executive. So, today's weekly webinar will be about sponsorship opportunities on the virtual platform. Katie will run over all the different types of opportunities that you have during the virtual event, and feel free to add in any questions in the Q&A tab at the bottom or the chat function at any point during the webinar. We can just jump off and stop and ask the questions. There will also be an opportunity at the end as well for Q&As too. So if we haven't quite got around to your question, we will certainly at the end. Pop in the chat where you're dialing in from. We've got our colleague Candice in the chat as well, who will be there answering some questions or just chatting with you. But Katie, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Danica. So as Danica said, I am in Wales, in southwest Wales. Again, quite a nice part of the world, if I do say so myself, although I am a little bit biased. I am a senior account executive at vFairs. Been working here for about 3 years. And love it, and obviously work remotely. What I'm going to do is basically go through all of the sponsorship opportunities within the vFairs virtual platform. So if you're not aware, we also have our mobile app. We do in-person events, we do hybrid events, but for today, we are going to focus on the virtual platform. If you are interested in the mobile app, we have done a webcast a couple of weeks ago on sponsorship opportunities in there as well. So definitely go and check that out. But as Danica said, I'll try and go through it as, slowly and as easily as we can, take our time. I will stop and ask if anybody has questions. But at the end, we will have 5 minutes or so in case you guys have got some towards the end. So I'm just going to swap over now. And I think it makes sense to go through this in a kind of chronological order. So I'm going to show you the landing page and the opportunities that we've got there. I'll talk a little bit about our email system, the marketing that you can do on that side of things, how we can also put together packages for you, or you guys can generate your own packages. And then I'll go through the platform itself, focusing on all the different areas. So the exterior view, the lobby, the exhibition hall, the auditorium, the lounge, and then as well as the rooms, we'll also discuss the different accesses you can give different levels of sponsors or different features as well. So yes, so starting with the landing page then. So as you may or may not be aware, we do provide your landing page and registration. So your project manager that you're given as soon as you sign up with vFairs will build you a landing page. Now, ultimately, it is completely up to you guys what this landing page looks like. And it's also completely up to you guys what information you want to put on here and what sort of content you want to put on here as well. So if you are going to have partners, sponsors, then this is definitely a great place to start with them. So making sure that they are getting that brand exposure right from the very start, as soon as you start marketing your event. You don't have to have different levels of sponsors if you don't want to. But what I will say is it is a great way to kind of monetize your event. So obviously, if you've got different packages, you can offer them different levels and include different things for them. And obviously that is just a great way to get even more money from your sponsors and even more of an interest in them signing up. Now, we do have a email marketing system, which is attached to the back end of our platform. So as you are marketing your event, what we usually recommend is you send out some marketing emails. In these marketing emails, again, they are completely customizable and your project manager will work with you on these. But we would probably suggest you either just make sure you're always putting those sponsor logos so they're constantly getting exposure, or even say, at the bottom of the emails, remember to visit our sponsors or thank you to our headline sponsors. Ultimately, it is completely up to you guys how you want to make these packages. If you just want to have kind of one main sponsor, or maybe you want to do tiers, And we can also help with that. You know, you guys can do it yourselves, but if you do want to have help with it, that is something our team can get involved in. For an extra fee, you can have a dedicated team from our side. Obviously, we've got lots of experience running events with tiered packages. And we can help you guys put some kind of packages together, just like the one that we're looking at here. So showing you what could be included in the different packages, and just giving you kind of idea of how you can create those different tiers. Okay. Now then, once we've done your landing page, so you are marketing your event, it's all up and running, we will then move on to building you a virtual venue. Now, vFairs is very known for being immersive and being very 3D, very eye-catching, and making your attendees feel like they are actually attending an event and they're not just, you know, on a Zoom call or on a Teams call. So we will give you a brochure which is full of templates. And in this brochure, we've got lots of different rooms available. So you've got lobbies, you've got exterior views, you've got exhibition halls, you've got auditoriums, you've got lounges. We don't just do 3D designs, we also do 2D designs as well. But I would say if, you know, sponsorship is a big part of your event, then I would say you're probably better off going with a 3D because there's, you know, an endless amount of opportunities to put that branding in. So you will basically be picking the rooms that you want to have, and then you'll also be picking the designs that you want to use. So it's like looking at lots of different venues effectively, but from the comfort of your office instead of actually going and viewing them. With all of these designs, as you can see, there's screens or there's banners and notice boards. We can add more in, we can remove them, we can make them bigger or smaller, and it's up to you guys what content you want to put on those screens. So it might be your own branding, or you might decide that you want to kind of put your sponsor's brand in there. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through each of these rooms now. I'll tell you a bit about each of the rooms, just in case we've got, you know, some people here that aren't familiar with the vFairs platform. And I'll also obviously talk you through the sponsorship opportunities within each of those rooms. So starting with the exterior view. The exterior view is basically an animated entrance to take your attendees into the virtual venue. So from the landing page, once your attendees click login, this would be the first place they would come into. So it's outside the virtual venue. As you can see, there are lots of different sponsor opportunities here. Again, there's lots of different, you know, templates that you can choose from. We also do custom templates. So this one that I've just clicked off, this is actually a custom design. So you don't have to, you're not restricted to using our templates. So yeah, you pick your template, your project manager will then put in all of the branding that you want, and your attendees can then click and then they'll be taken inside your virtual venue. Once you get inside the virtual venue, just like an in-person event, the first room you get into is the reception area, or we like to call it a lobby effectively. So you'll pick your lobby design, and in here then we'll put those sponsor logos for you, as many as you like. You don't necessarily have to have the amount of screens that are in the template. So if you'd rather just have kind of one big screen here, we can absolutely do that for you. So just show you a couple of examples of lobby designs and obviously all the different branding opportunities, whether that be on screens, on boards, on little notice boards. And like I said, we can add more of them in. One thing I would recommend is a welcome video. You don't have to have one, but it's no extra cost. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And it's just a really nice way to kind of welcome everyone to your event because it'll pop up automatically. It's a good chance to give a kind of tutorial of the platform and say, you know, you can navigate by using the tabs along the top or by clicking on the doors. But also, this is another place where you can say thank you to your sponsors, and maybe point out where they're going to be. Do they have an exhibition stand, or maybe they are sponsoring a session? So yeah, another place you can kind of give that exposure. On a similar note, we also do announcements, which you can push out throughout the day. Traditionally, the announcements are used to push people to certain places at certain times. So you might push one out at 9 o'clock saying, you know, the opening talk is about to begin, click here to join, and that'll take everybody straight to the opening session. However, a lot of our clients use the announcements as an opportunity to remind the attendees about the sponsors. So Did you know our sponsor ABC was the #1 company for XYZ? Click here to go and visit them, and it can be a little shortcut to their booth. Or you can even sell the announcement. So as a little upsell to the sponsor packages, if anybody wants to kind of pay for their own announcement or a reminder to their booth, that's another great opportunity for you. Okay. I'm going to go into the exhibition halls for you next. And this is probably the kind of main area, I would say, that you can create your packages and the different tiers of sponsors. So I just wanted to point out, you don't have to have just one exhibition hall, you can have multiple. And if you have multiple, that means you can create separate halls depending on the type of exhibitor. So on this one, for example, you've got sponsor hall, and then you've got the other exhibitors in a separate hall. On this one, for example, they've got a diamond hall and a signature hall. So there's nothing stopping you having gold, silver, bronze in completely separate halls. Okay. Once you have decided, you know, how many halls you want to have, you then get to pick which hall designs you want to use. The ones I'm going to be showing you today are the scrolling halls. So they scroll from left to right. And the only reason I'm going to be focusing on this kind of style is because you've got these TV screens or blimps in the background that you can have to put more branding for your exhibitors or your sponsors. So even when I'm looking at this particular booth, there's no getting away from the headline sponsor Domino's in the background. However, I am aware, you know, at some events, you don't have different tiers, you just have, you know, multiple sponsors. If that is the case, you might want to go for a bird's eye view, just to keep everybody happy. If they're all paying the same amount and they're going to be expecting the same exposure, a bird's eye view might be a, you know, slightly safer option. And even in the bird's eye views, you do still have screens on the outside where, again, you can put those logos. Okay. Going into a hall itself, then, you'll probably notice on this particular design, there are different booth templates as well. So there's probably about 10 different booth designs. There's loads of different avatar options. Now, it's up to you guys which booth templates you want to use, or whether you want to have a mix, or you can actually make this part of your packages. So, for example, you might say a bronze exhibitor only has one template. They can't choose a design. It's just this one booth and that's it. Whereas maybe your gold exhibitors, they've got 10 designs to choose from. They'll go at the start of the hall. So you can put, with the scrolling hall, you can put the booths in order of who is paying the most to be there. Just going to click into a booth for you. So every booth is completely customizable in terms of the branding, the color scheme, and it's also completely up to the exhibitor what sort of links they want to provide. So this bar here is for links to either their social media, their website. You've also got a description of the company, you've got videos, and you've got documents. From your point of view, or from our point of view, I should say, we don't put a limit on documents, on videos, or even on booth reps. But again, that's something you can restrict. So maybe the bronze would only get one document, one video, one booth rep, and maybe your gold would have unlimited resources and as many admins as they wanted to. Okay. You might notice on the documents and videos, you do have the option as an attendee to add these videos and documents to your virtual bag. So just like an in-person event, I guess, you can collect documents, resources, you can add them to your virtual bag, and then you can email those to yourself. So really nice feature for the attendees. It also is really good for our clients when they're running events, because you can actually get a genuine insight into what your attendees are interested in and what they're taking away with them. And from a sponsor's point of view, we can actually pre-populate the bags, so we can make sure that every attendee takes away the documents from the sponsor, because we'll put them into their bag without the attendees even having to do it. Okay. Perfect. I'm going to move on to the auditorium in just a second, but I'm just going to have a quick look and see if there are any questions. Danica, I don't suppose if you've seen...
No questions in the chat or Q&A at the moment. I do have a question myself though, Katie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The question I have is, can vFairs help us, like help you put together your sponsorships together? Like, can they do a package for you?
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. So Usually our clients would create their own sponsorship packages. However, some of our clients come to us to host virtual events. Maybe this is the first time they've done it, or they want a bit of help, or they just want to see what other people have done and other clients have done. So in that case, yes, you can pay a little bit extra. You can speak to our dedicated creative services team. They'll work with you on a one-to-one basis, and they will help you basically put together a package similar to this one, I guess, where you can tell us kind of what tiers you're looking at or how many different packages you want, and we can help you obviously put that together, because I guess we know the platform inside and out, and we can maybe give you some more ideas and of what could be included in those packages as well. So yeah, that's absolutely possible.
Great, thank you.
Perfect. So going into the auditorium then, so I'm just going to scroll down in this brochure actually, and if anybody does want a copy of the template brochure afterwards, let us know. We can send some resources across to you. The webcast or webinar itself is going to be recorded, so you can always go back and watch it on YouTube. But yeah, if you want any of the resources, give me a shout or give Danica a shout and we can send them across. So with the auditoriums, as you can see, there are lots of different designs. In all of our designs, you will have branding opportunities for yourself, and you'll also have branding opportunities for your sponsors or partners. So if I just pop back to this particular event, you can see there's 3 kind of TV screens on the side here. We can also make these clickable. Same goes for the lobby or any screens that you have around the event. If there is a screen, a banner, or a board where we put a sponsor's logo, if you want, we can make them clickable, and it can maybe take the attendees straight to that sponsor's booth, for example. Okay, so in the auditorium, obviously you've got a sponsorship opportunity here. Once you click to view the agenda, you guys have full control of the agenda anyway, but if you want to, you can actually get your sponsors to sponsor different sessions like this one. So they've got one here by GSK, they've got another one by Genentech. Completely up to you. I have seen clients have tracks sponsored, by different people, or even day 1 has a certain sponsor, day 2 has a different sponsor. So you can really get creative here, and it doesn't just end there either. So once your attendees click join for that session, even along the top next to the title, we can put the logos of whoever has sponsored that particular session. So the idea is really you want to try and give your sponsors exposure in every area of the platform. So no matter where your attendees go, that logo is always going to be there, and they're always going to be reminded of it. Okay. Moving on from the auditorium, which is obviously where you do your talks, your live talks or pre-recorded talks and breakouts, etc. I'm just going to move into the lounge. Now, the lounge is used in lots of different ways. It's a very versatile room. It does depend on your event goals. So, for example, some people use the lounge as a kind of networking space, and they might put links to some of our networking chat rooms. Some people use it as a social media room. So maybe, you've got your exhibition hall for your sponsors. Maybe you guys want your own space to put your social media or embed your Twitter feed or Facebook feed, or even include some gamification. So it's up to you guys how you use the lounge. But my point in here is we can also make this a kind of sponsorship opportunity. So we can even change the name of it. So if you don't want it to just be called the lounge, it can be, the sponsors lounge, for example, or the name of your sponsor and their lounge. Okay, so consistent opportunities for sponsorship throughout the platform. Obviously, I've been through each of the different rooms. What I want to talk about now is the different kind of levels of access that you might choose to give sponsors. So, for example, with vFairs, we can open your event before your live day for your sponsors, and we can also open your event after the live day. So I'm just going to talk a bit about pre-event. So we do have a headhunting tool where it's basically an attendee database. So everyone that's registered would be in this system, and it is up to you how, who has access to this and what sort of information is on show here. It's all information that's collected from the registration page, but in most cases, clients use this for exhibitors or sponsors to headhunt attendees, to filter and to book meetings. Now, what I have seen done a few times is maybe you only give your sponsors access to this, nobody else, or maybe only gold sponsors can get access to this. Or what you can do is do it on a kind of time frame. So maybe the sponsors get access a month before, gold 3 weeks before, silver 2 weeks before, etc. So this is a really great tool to use before the event, and it does help your engagement levels as well, because when your exhibitors are booking meetings, that will obviously go through to your attendees, and that's even more reason for them to come and join on the live day. Now, post-event, all of our events, we give you a month on demand anyway, where your attendees will revisit the platform. And we usually recommend you make use of the email system to keep reminding people that the platform is open. So for a full month, your attendees can come back, they can visit the sponsors, they can rewatch the sessions. However, what you might want to do is maybe for the month on demand, you only keep those gold exhibitors, or you only keep the sponsors. So it's only those people who have paid that premium amount that get that kind of premium service and the extra access. Same with the sessions as well. So you can do it kind of both ways. Okay. Now, we do offer a lot of reporting and analytics. It's included as part of the vFairs service, and your project manager will even put all of these analytics into PDF reports for you. Pretty much anything that's clickable is trackable. So we can basically show you who has visited each booth, downloaded each document, watched each video, etc. You can give this information to your sponsors, your exhibitors, your speakers, if you want to. And you can even give them a full list of who's kind of visited them or watched their session. But again, maybe you want to offer this as a kind of one-off service for those people who have paid for it. So either they can pay extra for it, or maybe it's something you include in certain packages. Okay. Now, we do have lots of other functionality which you can add into the platform. So things like gamification. So we do leaderboards, we do scavenger hunts, we do photo booths, we also do roundtables. Each of those elements, you can also bring in your sponsors to sponsor it. So for example, what we're looking at right here is the leaderboard. It's probably my favorite bit of gamification. So you give your attendees points for doing things that you want them to do. And you can basically get your sponsors to cover the cost of this effectively. So they can donate the prizes, they can pay extra to cover the cost of the leaderboard. It's a great way of getting your attendees to do things that you want them to do. Obviously, it's a bit of fun for them as well. But again, it's more exposure for your sponsors, and it'll help you guys cover the cost of things as well. On a similar note then, we also do scavenger hunts. Now with a scavenger hunt, you hide objects of your choice around the platform. What those objects are is completely up to you. So it could be sponsor logos like this one, for example. So they've got logos from each of their sponsors. Your attendees will then basically have a treasure hunt where they can go and find these different logos. And once they've collected them all, they can then win a prize, which we usually suggest you get donated from a particular sponsor. So this is basically used to make sure your attendees are exploring the platform. They are going into all of the different rooms, and they're visiting all of the different areas that you are providing as well. Okay, and the final area that I just wanted to show you is the photo booth. So this is always great fun. I know it does kind of depend on your event and the type of attendees that you're going to have as well. So with the photo booth, you can get your attendees to take a photo, a GIF, a boomerang, and we can put your event branding around these photos as well. But if you've got sponsors that want to kind of pay for this element for you, we can obviously put their logos in the frame as well. Okay, and this is great because you can also use this on your social media or get your attendees to start posting this on their social media. So again, more exposure for your sponsors too. So I've run through quite a lot, I think, in a short amount of time. I hope I haven't spoken too fast because I know I have a habit of doing that. But yeah, I just wanted to check, Danica, if we've got any questions before we finish off.
No questions as of yet. So if anyone does, feel free just to pop them in the chat. I've got a couple of questions that I've been thinking of as we've gone along that I've written down. One would be, Katie, so does it cost to have the sponsorship packages with vFairs?
Got you. So From our side, no, it doesn't. So you will simply be given an allocated amount of booths, and it is up to you what you do with those booths. It's up to you what you do with the screens. It's up to you what you do with all of these branding opportunities. Whether you have no sponsors or 50 sponsors, there's no difference in cost on our side.
Okay, perfect. And then if you have an annual license with vFairs, can you have different sponsors then for different events?
Yes, yeah, you can, exactly. So there's a few different annual license options. So depending on the one you've got, with most of them, the building, I guess, the virtual building will stay the same, but those TV screens or the banners or the notice boards, we're pretty flexible in updating those. And the same with the booths as well. You know, we can strip those and rebrand them with whoever you've got sponsoring for that particular event.
Great, okay, makes sense. Perfect, thank you. Wow, I think that wraps up for today's webinar. So thank you so much, Katie, for all that information. I hope that's kept you all occupied and interested, a lot to see, lots of different opportunities. If you do, again, have any questions, pop them in the chat. You will, at the end of this webinar, be sent over relevant information. You'll be sent over the link to rewatch this webinar. If you want to share it amongst your network, feel free to share it. And like Katie mentioned, it will also be shown on our vFairs YouTube channel. So feel free to check that out. All our previous webinars are on there also, and any upcoming ones will also be on there too. Thank you again so much for coming along today and joining us for episode 6 with myself and Katie. And next week, we look forward to seeing you for episode 7.
Perfect. Amazing. Thanks, guys. And Stella, yeah, I've just seen your note. We'll send that over to you as well.
Amazing.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.